A respected Catholic voice and longtime friend and colleague of Judge Amy Coney Barrett is addressing liberals who may be concerned about her nomination to the High Court, writing, quote, "There is nothing about the prospect of a Justice Barrett that should cause them to fear," end quote. In an opinion piece published in the Washington Post, O. Carter Snead, a professor of law and the director of the Center for Ethics and Culture at the University of Notre Dame, writes in part, quote, "There is, of course, no way to know in advance how a Justice Barrett would rule on hot-button cases. What is clear is that she would carefully analyze each case on its merits, respectful of the stakes for both the rule of law and the stability of our polity, doing her level best to get the question right, regardless of her own personal views." O. Carter Snead joins me now on Skype. Welcome back, and thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. I know that you've known Judge Amy Coney Barrett as a friend and colleague for more than 15 years. Can you give us a sense of who she is on a personal level?
Judge Barrett is one of the most extraordinary human beings you would ever hope to meet. She is, of course, brilliant in a way that goes beyond, you know, what even very brilliant people are. I mean, she's just absolutely extraordinary, extraordinary mind. But just as brilliant as she is, she's also as kind and generous and humble and warm and selfless, and to the exact same extent as she is brilliant. And that's a very, very unusual combination in people of her achievement. Everybody that meets Amy loves her, from the president of the university all the way down to the people who, you know, work in buildings and grounds here at Notre Dame. She was supported by every one of the clerks on the U.S. Supreme Court that clerked her term in 1998, including those that clerked for Breyer and Ginsburg. She was supported by every single member of our faculty in her appointment for the Seventh Circuit, and she won Professor of the Year 3 times here at the University of Notre Dame Law School.
Well, as we know, family is so important, and while praising her on Saturday, President Trump called her a profoundly devoted mother. Can you share with us maybe what you know about Amy as a mom?
Yeah, no, she's amazing. I mean, we have kids that are the same age. Our kids spend time together. We spend time with their family and vice versa. And watching Amy and Jesse, her husband, parent those kids is inspiring. I mean, those kids are the heart of their lives. They love every single one of those beautiful children, and they devote themselves to them. And it's an extraordinary thing that she's able to accomplish all that she does, and yet still be fully present as a mom to the kids. I mean, every single morning, when she goes to work out first in the morning, then she comes home and she goes upstairs to the room of her youngest child, Benjamin, who has Down syndrome. He's not that little anymore. He's in elementary school, and she puts him on her back and gives him a piggyback ride down the stairs for breakfast every day. That's their ritual as a family, and it's just a very beautiful thing, and it's a perfect representation of who Amy Judge Barrett is as a mother.
I love hearing those stories. So wonderful. As we know, Judge Barrett not only graduated from the University of Notre Dame Law School, but returned to teach there. Can you talk a little bit about how the university has helped to influence her?
The University of Notre Dame is the Blessed Mother's University. It is a university that takes its Catholic mission seriously. And I think for those of us who work here, it's a very special community. It has the highest standards for academic excellence, but it also aims to be a force for good in the world. And here in the law school, now under the leadership of Dean Marcus Cole, we take our vocation seriously, first and foremost, to form the students in our care. And Judge Barrett is one of the most, if not the most, beloved teacher on the faculty, and she is an essential part of our community. We're sad that she's not with us among the tenure-track professors, but she still teaches 1 day a week here. And of course, there's no one more well qualified than her to be on the U.S. Supreme Court. But it does make it sad to see her leave, should she be confirmed, which we all hope and expect she will.
Yeah. Carter, I want to get your thoughts on her as a jurist. I know in your piece you wrote about her open-mindedness. How have you witnessed that at work, and how is that an asset on the bench?
Yeah, I mean, the virtues of a judge, and this is what I think people forget. I mean, people assume that a judge is just another political actor that should help impose whatever policy views he or she might have. And that's not what a judge is. If that's what a judge is, then we shouldn't have a court. We should just make the Senate bigger and make these folks politicians. What judges do is something quite different. They interpret the law, and that it requires a lot of humility and a lot of integrity and intellectual honesty and a lot of discipline to prevent and to resist the temptation of importing your own preferred outcomes into your jurisprudence. And Judge Barrett, throughout her career as a jurist, and she talked about this in her confirmation hearing in 2017, what she views the role of a judge to be is precisely that, a judge to interpret the Constitution in light of its original meaning and to interpret statutes in light of their plain meaning and their texts. And everything else, her religious views, her policy views, her ideological views, her preferences of any kind, are irrelevant to that process. And what a person would want is a judge to do just that. And one of the finest thing I've heard about Judge Barrett as a judge came from a colleague of ours here at Notre Dame who said, Judge Barrett is the judge you'd want to have if you didn't know in advance which side of the lawsuit you were going to be on. Because you could be assured that she'll be fair and honest and act with integrity. And that's what we should hope for in a judge, not particular outcomes of cases.
Carter, we only have probably about 20 seconds left, but quickly, could you touch on the role her Catholic faith plays in her life?
Well, we were members of the same parish until our family moved to a different part of town, and she's an engaged member of the community. She believes in service to others, and the greatest influence of her faith is seeing her treat her neighbor as she would treat herself. In fact, in most cases, better than she treats herself.
Carter, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. Carter Snead, professor of law and the director of the Center for Ethics and Culture at the University of Notre Dame. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.